I'm Benny.
And I'm Logan.
Today on NSBC we have Camden with facts on Messi,
Blake with Taylor Swift tours,
Mackenzie with Stanley's,
Aiden with the future of tech,
Logan with Jayson Tatum,
and last but not least, Benny with the pollution in the Great Lakes.
Up first we have Camden with Messi.
Did you know that one of the best soccer players lives in our country? His name is Messi. Messi was born on June 24, 1987. He is 36 years old. He was born with growth hormone deficiency and was born in Rosa, Argentina. People say he is the best soccer player of his time. He has played for 4 club teams. One of them was when he was a kid, which was Newell's. His first famous team was FC Barcelona, which paid for his growth hormone deficiency medication. He played in the World Cup for Argentina national team. Before the 2022 World Cup, he played for Paris Saint-Germain team. Since the FIFA World Cup, Messi played for the Inter Miami FC team. In 2022, out of 3 teams he's played for in his professional career, he has played 20 seasons. According to MessiStats.com, in his professional career, he has received 93 yellow cards and 3 red cards out of his 1,047 games in his professional career. According to Medium.com, Messi has a net worth of $600 million. In his career, he has received countless rewards such as 8 Ballon d'Ors, 1 World Cup, 6 top scorers, and 10 league titles. He has 2 brothers and a sister. His brothers' names are Matias Messi, and his other brother is Rodrigo Messi. His sister is Maria Sol Messi. His dad is George Messi, and his mom is Celia Maria Messi. He has 3 kids, Thiago, he is 11, Mateo is 8, and Cairo is 6. His wife is Antio Rakuo, is 35, and is a model. He has made over $7 million off of his jerseys. A signed Messi jersey is worth up to $80,000. That's all. Back to you, Benny and Logan.
Wow, Messi has always been my favorite soccer player.
I know more about him.
Yeah, I didn't know he was that good. Now we have Blake with Taylor Swift tours.
Have you ever wondered about fascinating facts about Taylor Swift's tours? If you have, here's some facts about Taylor Swift's tours. Taylor Swift's debut tour was the Fearless Tour. The Fearless Tour began April 23, 2009 to July 10, 2010. The tour was performed in North America, England, Australia, and Japan. When Taylor was 19 years old, she made $66.5 million according to JustJared.com. Taylor Swift's second tour was the Speak Now Tour. This tour began on February 9, 2011 to March 18, 2012. Taylor performed 110 shows across Asia, Europe, North America, South America, and Oceania. Taylor was only 20 years old and selling out stadiums. On the Speak Now Tour, Taylor made $123 million. The Red Tour was Taylor's third tour. The Red Tour dates were March 13, 2013 to June 12, 2014. Taylor performed in Asia, Europe, North America, and Oceania. Taylor was 23 and made $150.2 million. Taylor's fourth tour was the 1989 tour. The 1989 tour began May 5, 2015 to December 12, 2015. Taylor performed the 1989 tour in Australia, Europe, North America, and Oceania. Taylor was 24 during this tour and made $250.7 million. Taylor Swift's fifth tour was the Reputation Tour. This tour took place in Tokyo, England, Canada, Australia, the United States, and New Zealand. The Reputation Tour began on May 8, 2018 to November 21st, 2018. Taylor was 28 years old and made $345.7 million off this tour. Taylor's latest tour, the Eras Tour, is her 6th tour and still taking place now. According to Ticketmaster, some of Taylor's tickets are going for more than $7,000 in the fall of 2023. There is a 1 in 400 chances of getting tickets for the Eras Tour. The Eras Tour is 3.5 hours of continual singing. Taylor makes $1,260 a second during the Eras Tour. Did you know the Eras Tour broke a record of the most attended concert by a female artist? 96,000 fans attended her sold-out show at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. The record was previously held by Madonna. Stated by thatgrapejuice.net, the Eras Tour was the highest music tour in history that began in March 2023, and as of this, more than 3 million Swifties have seen it. The Eras Tour is a tour of a lifetime. I wonder how Taylor does it.
Whoa, I didn't know that Taylor made that much off her tours.
I wonder if Taylor ever gets tired singing for 3 hours.
Mackenzie's up next with Stanley's.
Have you ever heard of the brand Stanley? I'm going to be talking about the lead in Stanley's. What is a Stanley? Stanley is a brand that makes travel flasks for camping, but lately people have been wanting them because they have Stanley tumblers. People have been obsessed with these tumblers because they keep your drink cold or warm, and they can keep ice from melting for up to 48 hours. At first, Stanleys were popular because so many people wanted them. Now they're back in the spotlight because people think they have lead in them. Social media influencers have been using lead testing kits on their Stanleys and other flasks, such as Yeti. CNN says it's true. There is some lead within the base of some brands with some travel drinking cups, including the wildly popular brand Stanley. Lead is part of Stanley's vacuum insulation, although it is covered by a stainless steel layer that protects the consumer. According to Wire.com, some lead tests are unreliable and may be incorrect. Stanley responded with a statement saying they use some lead in the manufacturing process. They also say it's still eligible for a lifetime warranty. The HWO says there is no safe level of lead. Lead can cause many issues such as kidney problems, anemia, and developmental issues. According to Wire.com, Awala, a water bottle brand, has no lead. Hydro Flask stopped using lead in 2013, and Yeti does not use lead. A representative for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says, when lead is used in manufacturing, there is a risk of lead exposure for consumers of those products, especially for products intended for use in food consumption, like drinkware. With this information, you can choose if a Stanley is right for you, your friends, or your family. Just make sure to be safe.
I wonder if anyone's gotten sick from the lead.
Wow, I didn't know that Stanley's used lead.
Ada with the future of tech.
Hi, I'm Aiden, and I will be explaining today's technology in the future, such as virtual reality, also known as VR, artificial intelligence, or AI, vehicles, money, and devices. To begin, I'll start with VR and keep going on and on. VR is the most gaming experience you would have. You can hang out with your friends, explore Jurassic World, or even both. VR frees your imagination. You can explore different worlds in the future that will evolve, and these experiences will feel like real life. Lincoln.com states that education will use VR in the future. Online computer classes will not be used. VR in the future will also have holograms. An example is the Apple VR headset. This headset will provide apps in VR and have basically a phone that no one can see. Now the holograms. In the Apple VR headset, there are buttons in the air when you put it on. These buttons are 2D or 3D holograms in the air. The buttons will be tapped on to activate a game or app. It will be better in the future. VR right now has a lot of games to socialize with other people. Lincoln.com states that VR will expand its social experience to more sites. Now to AI. In the future with AI, there will be more educational learning strategies to play better games with. Maybe AI could be taking jobs in the future, so be prepared. From now on, AI will barely be recognizable. Cars, delivery trucks, and taxis will be operated by robots. They will assist doctors on standards, giving them tips and tools to help the patient in many different ways, while testing them with a diagnostic. AI will mostly be robots walking in our everyday lives. Right now, technology is mostly used on our calculators, phones, and iPads, and computers, but in the future, they will help in many different ways. AI sometimes is not correct. 80% of the time, AI might fail. Be careful, because on an AI and a dented phone, it can mess up its programming. You might want to repair it or check its status. Yes, I'm warning you. Now to vehicles in the future. Obviously, they will be flying at ones of most people imagine. We already have a model inspired from Star Wars that can go 3 miles an hour without touching the ground. Someday, all cars will run on electric power. 8billiontrees.com reports that already today, 1 out of 250 other cars in the world already are electric. We will be more sustainable, smaller, and cheaper. Vehicles will drive themselves, helping you get to your destination as quickly as possible, while preventing crashes and getting lost. Trains and buses will follow cars in the mix, joining them to fly faster and more sustainable. Now to money in the future, which is expected to be heavily influenced by technology. Predictions include the rise of cashless societies, the growth of cryptocurrencies, and the continued adoption of digital currencies. Now to devices in the future, iPads, phones, etc. They'll be able to flip and make more screens, curve, and tilt. People will have holograms for FaceTime. You put your phone face up or on a table face up, and a 3D hologram of the person you are talking to will project on the 3D hologram on their side. Cool! Other devices won't change too much because people love the way they are. This is the end. I hope you learned about technology and I hope this helps. Now back to Benny and Logan.
Wow, I didn't know that AI was taking jobs.
I'm surprised I know that much about the future.
Logan with Jayson Tatum is up next.
Right now, the Boston Celtics are one of the best teams in the NBA. Did you know that? According to Kittle.com, their starters are Jayson Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Jrue Holiday. It is Jrue Holiday's first season playing for the Celtics and is already on the starting lineup. One of their best players, 6 feet, 8 inches, first-round pick, you guessed it, is Jayson Tatum. The most points he has scored in a game is 60 points in 2021 against the San Antonio Spurs. In college, he played for the Duke Blue Devils. He holds the record for most points scored in an All-Star game, 55. Tatum has won many awards, like All-Star MVP, and there are many more to come. Tatum is the father of one kid, Jason Jr., commonly known as Deuce. Tatum even has his own shoe brand. According to Fox Sports, Tatum is currently carrying the Celtics. He is averaging 27 points per game, but recently he's been getting high 40s and 30s. He is just a monster when it comes to three-pointers. When Tatum was playing against the Brooklyn Nets on their home court, Tatum dropped a whopping 41 points to win the game. That's a lot. After that game, Joe Mazzulla, former head coach, said that Tatum is just getting better as the time goes on. The Celtics were on top in February, destroying the competition. Tatum was just in the 2024 All-Star game, making him a 5-time All-Star. Tatum was on the East team trying to beat the West team. At the end of the game, the East won 211 to 186. Before that game, Tatum got to meet Celtic All-Star player Larry Bird. Bird was very excited to see Jayson Tatum. According to hoopshype.com, Jayson Tatum's average salary a year is $32,600,060. He's also the 37th most paid person in the NBA. That's it for me. Now back to you guys. He is one of my favorite basketball players.
He's also my favorite basketball player, and I didn't know he was that good.
Benny with Great Lake Pollution.
Hello, I'm Benny, and I'm going to tell you about pollution in the Great Lakes. Did you know, according to Earth.org, the Great Lakes are the most important surface freshwater ecosystems in the world? They provide fresh drinking water to at least 30% of the Canadian population and 10% of the USA's. The lakes support over 1 million jobs. They are also home to fish and wildlife species of concern or endangerment. According to a 2020 EPA analysis, the Great Lakes reportedly generates $82 billion in wages in the USA every single year. By the way, more plastic ends up in the Great Lakes in a year than the world's oceans in one. According to the Roster Institute of Technology, 8 tons of plastic end up in the world's oceans in a year, but in that same time, the Great Lakes collect 11 million tons of plastic. And we all know that the Earth's oceans are the biggest bodies of water on the planet, so it's just crazy that the lakes are more polluted than the oceans. Out of all the Great Lakes, Lake Superior is the least polluted. According to Environmental Education for Kids, pollution in our Great Lakes became a national issue in June of 1969, the same day that the Ohio River that flows through Cleveland, Ohio on its way to Lake Erie caught on fire because it was so polluted. It's crazy how badly our environment is treated. Also, according to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the Great Lakes Basin ecosystem covers 295,000 square miles and has about 11,000 miles of shoreline. The lakes are also 18% of the world's water supply. The NCCA found that in 2015, biological condition was good in 31% of the Great Lakes nearshore waters, according to the Oligocatastrophic Index. This represents a significant increase of more than 10% of the proportion of the Great Lakes nearshore waters that were rated good in the year 2010. According to NRDC.org, manufacturers are currently generating more single-use plastic now more than ever, with half of the world's plastic hitting the market within the past 13 years. We humans around the globe are only recycling just about 9% of all that. At least 60% winds up in landfills or the environment. Unlike plastic in the oceans, which can get caught up in currents and circulate around the globe, the plastics and other stuff swirling around in the Great Lakes has nowhere to go. It usually comes from nearby sources such as windblown litter from beachgoers or lakeside neighbors. The larger plastic chunks break down into microplastics and tend to concentrate on the shores closest to some bigger cities that are close to the Great Lakes, such as Cleveland and Chicago. Tim Hollian, an aquatic ecologist who studies the lake's plastic pollution at Loyola University in Chicago, has found microplastics and microfibers in the guts of 94% of all the fish that he has sampled so far. He and others are looking into how these plastics might affect fish and human health in upcoming years, but they don't have any clear answers yet. That's on pollution in our Great Lakes. And now back to you, Logan. I didn't know that much plastic ends up in the Great Lakes.
Thank you, Benny. Now I know to be safe when I go to the Great Lakes.
Welcome to NSN News. I'm Mason.
And I'm Cooper.
First, it will go to Ava with the wildfires in Hawaii.
And Callie with Taylor Swift's goals and achievements.
Cameron with All About Lamar Jackson.
Noah with Trash Island.
Cooper with the history of basketball.
And finally with Mason, who's better, Tyreek or Jamar Chase.
As the beautiful island of Maui is facing a wildfire crisis, residents are confronting evacuations and widespread damage to their homes and natural surroundings. The majority of the devastation was in the community of Lahaina. A total of 18,692 acres were destroyed and 101 people died, according to EPA.gov. The cause, which began in August of 2023 as a small bushfire, has rapidly spread across the land, fueled by strong winds and dry conditions. Authorities have evacuation orders for several communities as the flames spread dangerously close to neighborhoods. Firefighters were battling to control the fires, but their efforts were being disturbed by challenging terrain and terrible weather conditions. The wildfires already inflamed thousands of acres of land, including precious forests and fields. Concerns developed over the long-term impact, and the flames spread across native lands and threatened the habitats of endangered species. Maui's governor during the fire enforced solidarity with the affected residents and pledged full support for firefighting efforts. Our top priority is the safety and well-being of our residents. We are mobilizing all available resources to combat this crisis and minimize its impact on our communities. According to the New York Times, local authorities urged residents to remain vigilant and file evacuations or orders to ensure their safety. Emergency shelters were set up to protect those hurt by the wildfires, providing essential support and assistance, according to NBC News. The cause of the wildfire still remains under investigation, although officials suspect that dry weather conditions and human activity may have contributed to the rapid spread. The people of Maui are coming together to support one another, confronting this challenge. The resilience and determination shine through, offering hope for the island's recovery in the days ahead. Maui is receiving lots of help to rebuild. Maui still has a long road of recovery, but has slightly improved over the past month. Though many people are still struggling with housing and grief, I hope that Maui will soon fully recover and someday rebuild. Back to you, Mason and Cooper.
Wow, that must be terrible for the people that live there.
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for the people that lost their homes.
It all started with a girl and her guitar on a small farm in Reading, Pennsylvania. Taylor Swift has made history more than once at the Grammys. We will start with her first Grammy in 2010. She won 2 Grammys for Song of the Year and Album of the Year. The album that won her this unbelievable award was Fearless, her second studio album. When this happened, she was 20 years old, which is when she set the record for being the youngest artist to receive Album of the Year. At the Grammys in 2016, Taylor won 3 awards, which were Song of the Year, Best Pop Solo Performance, and Album of the Year. At this Grammy show, she set the record for being the first woman to win Album of the Year twice, according to Business Insider. At the 2021 Grammys, Taylor won 1 award. She won Album of the Year. According to Business Insider, at the 2021 Grammys, Taylor Swift became the first woman to win Album of the Year 3 times. At the 2024 Grammys, Taylor won 2 awards, which were Album of the Year and Best Pop Vocal Album, according to Grammys.com. At this 66th Grammy show, Taylor set the record for being the first person to win Album of the Year 4 times. Also at the 2024 Grammys, Taylor's producer won Producer of the Year. According to CBS News, Taylor has surpassed Frank Sinatra, Stevie Wonder, and Paul Simon, who had also won the award for Album of the Year 3 times. Another record Taylor broke at this Grammys was being nominated 6 times for Album of the Year. This was the most times any female artist has been nominated for Album of the Year, according to Time magazine. Recently, there has been extreme hateful comments going around about Taylor Swift for her attendance at the Kansas City Chiefs football games. Taylor is unbelievable. She's rewriting the history books herself, Travis Kelce, the tight end for the Chiefs, said. This has caused other artists to speak out about the controversy in general or even at their concerts, such as Adele at her concert. Adele was discussing who she wanted to win the Super Bowl. She said she wanted the Chiefs to win because Taylor went with them. She was angry at the people who were hating on Taylor for no reason. She told them to get a life. According to ET News, but it's not just the NFL fans that are hating on Taylor. It's also Trump fans, because in 2020, Taylor backed Joe Biden and explained why she didn't like Trump. Now it's a girl in her 14 Grammys awards, sold-out concerts, 11 albums, millions of diehard Swifties, her loving parents, and an amazing boyfriend. That will be all about Taylor Swift's achievements and hatred from some people.
That's so impressive.
I never knew that's how many awards she has.
My report is on Lamar Jackson. Did you know that Lamar Jackson joined a select group in winning NFL's Most Valuable Players for a second time? Well, according to ESPN News, he became the 5th player to win multiple MVP awards in his first 6 seasons in the leagues. The others were Jim Brown, Kurt Warner, Brett Favre, and Patrick Mahomes. And leading to the Ravens to an NFL best 13-4 record, Jackson ranked in the top 10 this season in total quarterback rating 64.7, yards per pass attempt 8.0, and touchdown to interception ratio 3.4. He also led the NFL in rush yards 5.5, not just among quarterbacks. Continuing to be the NFL's best dual threat, he totaled 3,678 passing yards and 821 rushing yards, the most in the NFL. He is the only player to produce over 3,000 passing yards and 800 rushing yards multiple times. Winning MVP in both seasons, he has accomplished this feat in 2019 to 2020 and 2023 to 2024. Jackson overtook San Francisco 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy as the MVP frontier on Christmas when he guided Baltimore to a 33-19 win at San Francisco. Then he essentially secured the award a week later in a 56-19 rout of the Miami Dolphins when he recorded a perfect passer rating 158.3 and threw 5 touchdown passes. He also has the most wins before 25 with 41, and furthermore, he was the youngest player to get an MVP award at only 22 years old. Back to you guys.
I never knew how many awards Lamar Jackson had.
821 yards is a lot for a quarterback.
Today I'll be talking about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch and ocean pollution. The garbage patch is located between California and Hawaii. It is about 620,000 square miles, and it is so big that some people refer to it as the 8th continent. It is made up of about 170 trillion plastic particles and 1.8 billion pieces of floating plastic, which has killed thousands of marine animals each year. Speaking of the plastic killing thousands of animals each year, did you know that sea turtles have about 74% of their diets composed to ocean plastic? That is so sad. The garbage patch is a result of improper management of the dumping and littering of man-made plastic pollution by world's population. According to ABC News, the Ocean Cleanup Group, an environmental engineering organization, has removed around 25,000 pounds of trash. That's awesome. This trash pollution is mostly made up of marine debris and trash waste from humans. Did you know that people dump 8 million tons of trash into the ocean each year? That is crazy. According to oceanservice.noaa.gov, if you tried to clean up less than 1% of the North Pacific Ocean, it would take 67 ships in 1 year to clean up that portion of trash. That is unbelievable. The only way to stop this plastic overflow is to cut down on using plastic products. If you would like to help and clean up the ocean, go to oceancleanup.com. Thanks for listening.
Hi,
I'm Cooper, and I'll tell you about the history of basketball. Basketball was invented by James Naismith in Springfield, Massachusetts in 1891. He was a gym teacher at the YMCA who wanted to create a game that could be played indoors during the winter and that would keep his students fit and active. In 1894, there were 5 people on each side and 9 people on each team. The original rules have 13 points, no dribbling, and no backboard. It became so popular by that 1898, basketball became a pro sport. Since Naismith and 5 of his original players were Canadians, Canada was the first to be introduced to basketball outside the United States. Basketball became an Olympic sport in 1936 in Berlin, Germany. The U.S. won the gold medal by beating Canada 19-8 on a dirt court in the rain. The women's NBA wasn't invented until 1996. They have 12 teams, 5 of which are in the same cities as the men's NBA. Here are some fun facts about basketball. 1. The basketball hoop was made from peach baskets and had a metal pole to hold up the basket. 2. They played with the soccer ball for the first 2 years. 3. The NBA was created on June 6, 1946 from 2 different organizations called the BAA, Basketball Association of America, and NBL, National Basketball League. 4. The first recorded slam dunk was in 1936. 5. The first recorded African-American coach didn't appear until 1966. 6. The Sacramento Kings are the oldest basketball team and the Charlotte Hornets are the newest. 7. The NBA is now 78 years old and there are 30 NBA teams. The Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers have the biggest rivalry in NBA history. Some of the most famous basketball players are Charles Barkley, Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Larry Bird, Steph Curry, and Bill Russell. A big argument people have is whether Michael Jordan or LeBron James is better. My opinion is Michael Jordan is better.
I never knew that was how basketball started.
If you like football, then you probably already know who Tyreek and Jamar Chase are. But have you ever wondered who is a better wide receiver in the National Football League? Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, born on March 1st, 1994, is an American football wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins of the National Football League. Hill was drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs in the 5th round of the 2016 NFL Draft. He played college football at Garden City, Oklahoma State, and West Alabama. A former track and field star, Hill played primarily as a return specialist as a rookie, but has transitioned to strictly playing wide receiver following his rookie year. He received the nickname Cheetah in reference to his speed. He has been selected to the Pro Bowl in each of his 8 seasons in the league. He then went on to win Super Bowl 54 with the Chiefs and was named to the NFL 2010's All-Decade Team as a punt returner. Hill has amazing stats. According to ESPN, this year alone, he had 119 receptions with a total of 1,799 receiving yards. Throughout Hill's career, he has had 76 touchdowns, 717 receptions with 10,139 yards. While playing for the Chiefs, Tyreek Hill's records were 111 receptions in 2021, 1,479 receiving yards in 2018, and 15 touchdowns in 2020, where he tied with Dwayne Bowe, another football player, for the Chiefs. When he played for the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill's records were 119 receptions in 2022 and 2023, and 1,710 receiving yards in 2022. Now for Jamar Chase. Jamar Anthony Chase, born March 1st, 2000, is an American football wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals of the National Football League. He played college football at Louisiana State University, where he won the Fred Biletnikoff Award in the 2020 College Football Playoff National Championship as a sophomore. Chase was elected 5th overall pick by the Bengals in the 2021 NFL Draft. He was named the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year in the same year and the second-team All-Pro. That same season, the Bengals went to the playoffs, and that led to an appearance in Super Bowl 56. Jamar Chase made some amazing records as a rookie. According to ESPN, he had 1,823 receiving yards in 2021, receiving 266 yards in one game alone and 368 yards in the postseason. He was the youngest NFL player with multiple 100-yard receiving games.
in a single postseason in 2021. Some of Jamar Chase's best stats were 286 receptions and 3,717 receiving yards. So to sum it all up, Tyreek Hill is a better wide receiver than Jamar Chase. Tyreek Hill is older and has more experience in the league and has a better overall record. Back to you guys.
I didn't know that that Tyreek Hill was that fast. His nickname was the Cheetah.
Hi, I'm Lucas.
Hi, I'm Becca.
Well, welcome to Public Elementary School Broadcasting.
The list of newscasts today is Ethan with the history of soccer,
McKinley with kids on their electronics,
Avery with resource officers,
Brandon with Russell Westbrook,
Lucas with retro video games,
and Becca with full day kindergarten versus half day kindergarten.
Now to Ethan with the history of soccer.
My newscast report is on the history of soccer and how the population grew over the years for the fan base and players. According to the Bundesliga website, reports of soccer being played go back to 2,000 years ago in ancient China, Greece, and Rome, when soccer balls were made out of animal hides. Soccer also has its roots to 19th century England, when soccer became a super big sport in Europe. With almost the entirety of Europe playing soccer, it became the biggest sport in the world. Did you know that 58% of soccer fans in America have come in the last 10 years because of all the stars of soccer that are coming to play in the American Soccer League, the MLS? The first soccer league in the entire world was made in 1863. The rules were formed and the teams were made, but every few years the rules would change little by little. One of the rules that are totally different than when they were made is the rule that every goal each team has to switch sides. Now you don't have to switch sides when a goal is scored. In the early 1900s, soccer began to spread around the world. Public teams and club teams were being made league after league. According to redbull.com, how the teams traveled to games was by railroads. Now this is when soccer really started to boom, because teams could use trains to get to their matches. Then they could get anywhere they want to play a match as long as there was a railroad there. For the longest time, soccer was mostly a British sport, but the beautiful sport of soccer soon spread to more of Europe and even overseas. FIFA, the biggest soccer association in the world, introduced many more options to soccer players. Now they can play for their national team and club teams. FIFA also introduced more options for America, because now American players could play for their country in the World Cup. This led to an increase in the population in America going up and the creation of the MLS. Well, it's time for me to wrap it up. So what do you think about soccer now?
Wow, I never knew so much about soccer.
And I can't believe people have been playing soccer for over 2,000 years.
Now to McKinley with kids on their electronics.
Did you know kids spend 2 to 4 hours on their electronics every day? Kids are also spending twice as long on screens than playing outside. Kids are not getting enough sleep. They are developing anxiety, depression, and obesity. 88% of the kids between the ages of 13 and 18 have an iPhone, and 57% of the kids between the ages of 8 and 12 have one also. Excessive screen time can lead to conduct disorder and oppositional defiant disorder. According to NBC News, elementary students spend more than 2 hours a day watching TV, playing video games, or using a computer, or using a phone. Excessive screen time can lead to increase of symptoms of ADHD in children and teens. When your child is glued to their screen for too long, this can affect their brain development and their social skills, behavior, and emotional responses. One particular app that kids enjoy but parents find concerning is TikTok. TikTok can affect a child's work, social time with their friends, and impact their sleeping schedule. I will share the 5 top reasons why too much screen time is harmful. First, sleep deprivation. Second, delayed learning in your child's schoolwork. Third, loss of cognitive ability. Fourth, lack of sleep. Fifth, lack of social skills. According to ABC News, some kids spend about 10 hours playing video games or on their phone and electronics. Here are some steps you can take to have your child not get addicted. Set a limit on their devices. Don't allow them to use their phone before bed, and download apps to monitor inappropriate sites. Also, a good idea is having some educational apps so your child can practice their schoolwork. Thanks for listening.
Wow, 2 to 4 hours on a device is a lot.
I didn't know that much about kids on their electronics.
Now to Avery with resource officers.
Wondered why there are police officers around your school. The police officers around your school are called school resource officers, or an SRO. These officers are there to ensure safety to everybody and to keep everyone safe. If there was an unknown stranger in your school, your officer will try their best to protect you and your life. Resource officers will build trust with you. He or she will also sometimes teach you lessons like bullying prevention, online safety, and self-harm prevention. For example, at my school, one of the officers' names is Officer Perry. He has taught us about how to not get exploited and keep away from predators online. In addition, resource officers can be involved in other things such as student consequences, suspensions, and legal acts. Most of the time, if you are suspended, your officer decides if you should be suspended or not, how long the suspension is, and what you did is even that bad to deserve a suspension. Also, your officer has every right to take legal actions against you. According to Resource Officer News for Kids.com, an officer can even detain or arrest a student if needed. You can always trust your resource officer no matter what. That is their job after all. Also, make sure that you are always respectful to your resource officer, because they take away their time to protect you and your life by risking their life to keep you safe. In 2019 to 2020, there were about 23,000 SROs in schools, according to NASRO.org. Did you know that more than 15,000 new officers have been in duty in schools since 2022? Also, 63 people have died in school shootings since 2022. In addition, more than 70% of SROs on duty have had to respond to an incident in schools. One cool fact about SROs is that only 13% of SROs are females and the rest are males. Also, not all incidents in schools are shootings. There are other problems such as drug and firearm possession, and many more. Did you know that high schools actually have the most incidents in SROs in the buildings? Another cool fact is that in the state of New Hampshire, SROs only make $30 to $32 an hour. But in the state of New Jersey, SROs make the most money, about $37 to $38 an hour. Now, the next time you see your SRO officer, make sure to thank them for their service they do to protect your life and keep you safe.
I didn't know that much about resource officers.
I'm glad we have resource officers in our school.
Now to Brandon with Russell Westbrook.
This is the story of Russell Westbrook, an American professional basketball player. Russell was born on November 12, 1988 in Long Beach, California. He was only 5'8" at 15 years old, but he had a growth spurt to 6'3". In college, he played basketball at UCLA for 2 years. Westbrook was drafted in round 1 and was picked 4 in 2008. In Westbrook's first season, the 2008 to 2009 season, he was on the All-Rookie First Team. In the 2016 to 2017 NBA season, Westbrook won the MVP award, which stands for Most Valuable Player. In that same season, he got 42 triple-doubles. Russell Westbrook was the only person to record a triple-double on a perfect field goal and free throw shooting. Westbrook has 3 kids, Noah, who is 5, and he has twins Jordan and Sky, who are 3. He is a 3-time assist leader, a 9-time All-Star, and 9 All-NBA teams. Westbrook has played for the Thunder, the Rockets, the Wizards, the Lakers, and the Clippers throughout his NBA career. He is a 2-time scoring champion. According to Sports Illustrated, Russell Westbrook has had 57 games where he scored 40-plus points. His career high was 58 points. According to NBA.com, Westbrook holds the record for the most career triple-doubles with 198. He is a 5-time All-NBA second team and a 2-time All-NBA first team. Throughout his career, he has made $340,265,800. In this season, 2023 to 2024, Westbrook is 35 years old, and according to ESPN, he averages 11.4 points per game, 4.6 assists per game, 5.5 rebounds per game, 1.1 steals per game, and 0.4 blocks per game. Fun fact, Russell Westbrook shoots with his right hand but writes with his left hand. Back to you, Lucas and Becca.
Wow, he has got a lot of awards.
I didn't know all that about Russell Westbrook.
Now to Lucas with retro video games.
Have you ever played a retro video game or even heard of one? Odds are you probably haven't if you were born in the 2000s. What is a retro game, you may ask? To be labeled as a retro game, the game has to be at least 20 years old. Here's a list of the top 10 best retro video games of all time according to GamesRadar.com. Number 10 is Super Mario Kart, which was released in 1992. It was the game that started one of the best racing franchises in video game history. Number 9, Halo Combat Evolved was released in 2001 on the first Xbox and was much better than Nintendo's GoldenEye 007 on the N64. Halo had much better graphics, better mechanics, and much more that made Halo the superior shooter game. Number 8, Street Fighter II: The World Warrior was released in 1991 in arcades. This is a great sequel to the first Street Fighter games. Street Fighter II had better enemies and better graphics that hooked the gamer into the game. Number 7, Super Mario 64 was first released in 1996. This is one of the best video games of all time in the history of video games. Super Mario 64 was the first time we saw Mario in 3D and was a huge hit for Nintendo. With all the fun and unique levels, this game was astonishing for the gaming industry. According to unsupervised nerds, Super Mario 64 has come back into common sense with the release of Super Mario 3D All-Stars on the Nintendo Switch. Number 6, Tomb Raider was released in 1996 on PlayStation. Tomb Raider was like Super Mario 64's complex graphics. Tomb Raider's main character was Lara Croft. This video game proved to be just as fun as Super Mario 64. Number 5, Resident Evil 4 was released in 2005 on the GameCube. It was a zombie-based survival game where you attack and run away from zombies before they get you. Number 4, Tetris was released in 1984. Tetris was one of the best puzzle games of all time. Tetris was a huge success in the gaming industry and was fun for all players. Number 3, Doom was released in 1993. In Doom, you play as a space marine who is on Mars and human-like creatures are trying to attack you while you fight back. Number 2, Zelda Ocarina of Time was released in 1998 on the Nintendo 64. This game was the first time we saw Link and Zelda in 3D, just like Super Mario 64. Number 1, Super Mario World was released in 1990 on the Super Nintendo. It ended up being probably the best retro video game of all time. There's almost nothing wrong with Super Mario World. All the cool, fun, and amazing power-ups made the game so fun. Super Mario World will likely remain the best retro video game of all time. Also, according to IGN.com, Super Mario World has a rating of 8.5 out of 10. IGN also states that it takes 10 hours to fully beat the whole game. In conclusion, retro gaming will be fun for adults and kids alike.
Wow, I never knew so much about retro video games.
Now to Becca with full-day kindergarten versus half-day kindergarten.
Do you ever wonder if your kid should go to full-day kindergarten or go to half-day kindergarten? Well, it's not a bad question, because tons of adults wonder what's right for their kids. I will tell you all the pros and cons of each of them, and you can make your own decision. First, I will tell you some pros for full-day kindergarten. Some people argue full-day kindergarten will be better for their kids because it will be easier to transition to first grade, especially for reading. Another reason full-day kindergarten can be helpful is that kids can be given more personal attention. Studies show that full-day programs have more time for individual and small group learning. This will be helpful for students who need more attention in certain activities. Another reason full-day kindergarten is better is students will be able to build a bigger social community for first grade. This helps children make friends quicker and have less stress over finding friends in the grades above. Parents benefit because scheduling is less difficult if school is full day rather than half day. Parents who can't pay for children's food benefit because the school would offer breakfast and lunch. Although others argue that full-day kindergarten will be too tiring, especially for children who are not used to taking naps and not used to holding any stress. Another reason people think half-day is a better choice is there can be a loss of confidence in young students who are not prepared to do the amount of work in full-day kindergarten. These students would be a poor role model for other students. Less physical activity and more worksheets could get the younger children bored and irritated. The issue of adding full-day kindergarten is something my town of Londonderry, New Hampshire is considering now. According to the Londonderry Times website, on September 20th, 2022, a school board meeting was held to explore the specific topic, which they have been studying for over 4 years. One benefit of full-day kindergarten the board came up with was that they would be able to match their learning standards to the state standards. With half-day kindergarten, lots of teachers complain that they don't have enough time to cover all the subjects, and full-day kindergarten would be the solution. The main argument against the full-day kindergarten is that full-day kindergarten will increase taxes for the community. People that do not have kids in full-day kindergarten do not want to pay higher taxes. According to the Moose Hill Building Project, the total cost of the project would be $34.2 million with ongoing taxes. $23.1 million of that would be used for overcrowding costs. The other $11.1 million would be used for additional classrooms, cafeteria, gym, and bathrooms. The tax increase would be approximately $52 to $864 per year. And that's it for the pros and cons of full-day kindergarten versus half-day kindergarten. I hope you learned a lot and will have an easier time finding what's right for your child.
Wow, I never knew so much about kindergarten days.
Thanks for watching Public Elementary School Broadcasting.